Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a quick lab in chemistry. Today, inshallah, we're gonna have a quick comparing between molecular compounds and ionic compounds. During the classes, we know that the molecular compounds are atoms bonding together covalently by forming a covalent bond, and this bond is formed as a result of sharing electrons. An ionic compound, it's a compound that as a result of attractions between ions as a result of losing and gaining electrons. Now, from my kitchen, I have two substances. I have a sugar, which is a molecular compound, and I have a salt, which is an ionic compound. If you remember during the classes, we mentioned that the melting point for the molecular compound is going to be really low. However, the melting point for ionic compounds is going to really high. So for today's experiment, we have a sugar represent molecular compound, and we have a salt representing the ionic compounds, and we have a candle here as a source of heat, and we have a timer as well, so we could see each substance when did it melt first. So I'm going to start with the sugar. So I'm gonna click onto the timer, and I will take the sugar, starting to heat the sugar by using the flame. You can use, if you wanted to make that really faster, you can use different source of heat. Now, we expect that the sugar gonna melt really quickly, and the candle here, it's not gonna melt the salt because the salt, it's ionic compounds, so the chemical bonds here are really strong, so it will not melt fast or easily like the sugar. However, the sugar, it's molecular compound which is covalently bounded, and it's gonna be really weak, which means it's gonna melt very quickly. You can see how it start actually already starting melt. If you can see the liquid, you see it, it's already start melting. So that really fast, less than 2 minutes. That happened less in 2 minutes, and the sugar start really melt, and this is very low heat. We know the candle do not provide a high temperature, so as you can see here, sugar is start melt less than 2 minutes. So I'm gonna try now the salt. So we're gonna stop and restart. So the sugar almost 2 minutes. We're gonna try with the salt. And you know the salt, it's ionic compounds. So now we're gonna pass the time of the sugar. I will tell you that the candle here will not melt the salt. The salt need a high source of heat, and the candle will not provide that level of heat. So the level of heat that gonna be provided by the candle will not be enough to melt the salt. So I will remain like that to pass the sugar melting point, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Look here, the sugar is already melt, and the reason of that is ionic bond, it is stronger than the covalent bond. The covalent bond, it's weaker. And also the reason why the ionic bond is really stronger, because of the attractions between the electrons here, the attractions between the ions, that what to provide this strength. So as you can see here, there's already 1 minute pass, and the salt is still the same. And I told you we're gonna stay until 5 minutes, because if you stuck like that for a long time, salt will not melt. Salt is a ionic compound, and it's gonna require a lot of heat to melt, to break down those chemical bond and convert it from solid to liquid. This heat here from the candle will not be enough. So as you can see here, we already passed the sugar melting point. By this time, the sugar will already melt. You can see here how the sugar is already melt. And if you look to the salt, it's the same. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. And you're gonna stay like that for. You're gonna try to stay like that for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, we're gonna come back. Okay, now we have 3 minutes. You can see the salt. Nothing happened to the salt at all. I can put it back in a dish. Nothing happened at all, as you can see here.